Hello everybody, this is About Geek, also known as Vamp Mario, and we are back with another painting video for you all. Sorry that our video started a little bit later than normal. I started at 11 instead of 10 o'clock tonight. It's just a late night for me and just things going on. So this is our Warhammer painting day. Let me just get... As traditional with these videos, I am 100% still setting things up even after I start the stream. All right, there we go. Lights are on. Camera. Action. We're going to be doing another AOS painting day. We have some final touches to do on Be'lakor, the wonderful large demon you see before our other heroes. We also have a vampire model. We also have some Stormcast Eternals. I wanted to actually technically paint two Stormcast Eternals. We have some previous painted ones that I hadn't completely finished the paint scheme on. And then we have the newer one, or the newer model. I am going to be doing these Stormcast Eternals in a slightly different paint scheme than you might be accustomed to seeing them. And I wanted to kind of talk through that and kind of talk about my reasoning and rationale as to why. But it will be, in fact, a different paint scheme. So they will look very different. I've also matched my dragons to meet that. So the army will have a total look like that. But we're going to, like I said, start with Be'lakor. To see how to finish off Be'lakor. Some of the final touches, really bringing some of the atmosphere to them and a few other things. And then, like I said, we will probably focus on the Stormcast, unless you guys want me to focus on the Vampire next. I know I had some Vampire players last time, so we might do the Vampire model, but we have plenty of AOS models to go around, so we're going to get right to it and cracking. And as always, if you do enjoy these videos and want to see more of our painting videos, please consider following the channel and signing up for notifications. That is going to be the best way for you to be able to see what we're up to. And again, Tuesday nights are always our Warhammer painting nights. So we always do Warhammer. Mondays we try to do Marvel Crisis Protocol, although, as I've said a few times, if we feel that we're not getting those views or those hits, I may be changing what we do on Monday nights. I'm not going to commit myself to anything just yet. But we might be changing the nature of that show, the nature of what we're doing. So you guys can see where we got to with Be'lakor. I mean, Be'lakor is pretty much ready to go. He's pretty done. There's just a few little last-minute touches we're going to do, some of which I want to thank my viewers, because some of the ideas actually came from you guys this time around. So I'm so grateful that we have so many cool, painting folks in the community, and in my group and channel. So you guys definitely gave me some inspiration, to say the least. And we are moving forward with some of those ideas. So the first thing I wanted to do is give Be'lakor, which this will either go extremely well or extremely badly. Ooh. Tensest moments. There we go. So I gave Be'lakor that glint. I call it the glint in the eye, but it's really just putting some white in the eye, so now the eye has like a pupil or a focal point. So now he looks like he's actually looking at something. He looks like his eyes are articulated, which is awesome. So we got that done. Like I said, of course, guys, the minute I come to sit down to paint, my nose is immediately itchy and doing its thing. So all right, what am I doing? All right. So let's do this wheel in that Retributer Gold, because we're going to make it seem like a Stormcast fight broke out down here. And maybe this fell off of a war machine. Maybe it fell off of something else. But I'm going to put blood on it so it looks a little, blood. I'm going to grit it up a little bit so it doesn't look as pristine as if it came off in battle. Since it is Bellicor after all. But I realized that this was on the ground and I hadn't like really painted it, which I kind of do have to paint it. Oh, and this is the Retributer Gold that I'm using for that paint. And like I've said to you guys before, I'm gonna be working this week on we're gonna change up the painting setup. I already changed up our gaming setup for Thursday nights, so I have a pretty good feeling for how we're gonna do those moving forward and what that setup's gonna look like on the table. So we'll have a little bit more professional quality. But I'm going to work out the logistics of a 2-camera setup. So on my painting table, when we're doing larger models like this, I can give you guys a better view of what we're doing. Because a lot of times I have to sort of hold these models kind of weird angles. And I know even my iPhone, as great as it is, it will unzoom or it will zoom in on like the wings of the character or stuff. So on some of the painting, you guys are actually getting like a lot less of what's going on. So to help with that and to get you more, in the moment and a little bit more details, I'm going to rework how I shoot all this stuff. So it's just, I haven't had a chance to focus on it the last couple of days because, like I tell you guys all the time, I do have a day gig at the moment, but I do have a day gig, but I do want to do this more for you all. So that's where I talk about that monetary support a lot. But if you see it in your hearts to jump onto my website or my Patreon and you literally can sign up for my Patreon for $1 a day. Like, it's not. Sorry, guys. I'm just like focused. I just got like really into the zone with this. Oh, that Retributer Gold looks really, really good. I really like it on the bottom there. It's not too distracting, and it kind of gives a different quality to the metal, which I really like. So now what we're going to do is put Gore in. So this was something that Plague talked about on one of the previous streams he was watching with us. And he said, would it be cool if the hooks and stuff had blood on them? And I really, really like that idea. So I'm going to start to play around with this idea. So what he was talking about was the idea of putting going to try to do is just like kind of this. I don't know if this will kind of work because I put that Retribute. What's the word? Balthazar Gold on there, which is great. It's got like a more of an antique look, but it has like a rose gold almost finish to it. So with the red, I don't know if it's gonna show the way I want it to, but we're gonna give it a shot. We're gonna try. So we're just gonna put like a little bit of red on the hooks. So the idea is to put like to make the end of the hook. You guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. So the end of the hook is what I'm like putting the red on, so it looks like it maybe is like drenched in blood. Now you would normally be able to do this, and I'm sorry I'm not showing the hooks. Another thing you could do, which I didn't do here, is you could also like get UV resin, and you can make like little resin drips, which you can also take the UV resin and you can color the UV resin. So you can make it so okay, so this brush has seen better days, my small brush. I have a few more of them. I think it may be getting to the point where I might have to retire this one, although it's still working pretty well. But again, these brushes are not Citadel brushes. These were like bought at an art store. They are supposed to be, though, acrylic brushes, but I do feel like specifically with like the Citadel paint, it hasn't translated as well to like actually giving me that look. So, all right. Oh, damn it. All right. Well, the good news is that didn't really hit any major parts of him. God damn it. All right. Hold on, guys. Part of my issue is that there's just I have a lot of stuff right now. I have to organize a lot of stuff. You know, with the weeks and when we film, my office can get a little overrun with like a lot of the stuff I unbox, a lot of the other stuff that I do. So if you can imagine this, every time I finish a video. So I know a lot of these videos I'm finishing at like at least my time, you know, like 12:30. Like this video I'll probably finish at 12:30 because I'm going to try to go for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. Yeah, so you guys are speaking loud and clear. Now, also, I think this week is GW's Paint-a-thon, which I should be picking up my other contrast colors tomorrow. So we will be, you know, having some of that content. I'll be able to review some of those newer colors. We'll have some new stuff. Sadly, we won't have any, I don't believe, new like Warhammer stuff. But I'm probably going to do some, I might do some video game stuff tomorrow, because there was actually a game or two that came out. And I'm excited because we're getting closer and closer to, I'm just going to put all like blood effects on here. So again, what I'm kind of doing is just making the hooks have like blood kind of on the end of the hooks. So it kind of looks like he formerly was hanging people possibly from these hooks, which I think has a really cool touch. I liked the minute Plague talked about the idea on the stream. I was like, ooh, I actually really, really like that idea. I think it's really cool. And then what I wanted to do was enforce that on here. So I wanted to make it look like there's like some blood that maybe dripped. I mean, his sword doesn't lend itself to like a bloody finish because the sword is magical, so it's not. It's like ethereal. It's got like ethereal flame. So now we have those bloody hooks. I'm just gonna put some blood on this side. So again, it looks like, you know, he kind of maybe freshly put some people on these hooks, or gotta put some silver on that hook. Yeah, hopefully you guys are not seeing like broken frame rates and stuff, because my stream says that it's in good shape, but I feel like when I always look at the preview of it, especially on this computer, it's not always as smooth. I just noticed that this didn't have any silver paint, so I'm just gonna rectify that by getting that painted in. Yeah, that's what I meant by little touch-ups. It's not too much we have to do to him. I'm pretty satisfied with how he came out as a model. It's really going to be just some stuff on the base that we have to take care of, that I want to like kind of punch up and look good. We have to finish the sword, because right now the sword, oh, there's actually a couple of other little things. Yeah, I'm sort of know what I want to do with the sword, which is I think we're going to do some of the Space Wolf inside of the sword. So we'll do that detail on that. I was thinking of doing like a silver inside of there, but I don't think that's going to play very well. So I think it would look cooler if we had like that that gray in there to off play. I'm going to switch brushes because I actually want... Ooh. And again, I apologize, guys, if the model is not cooperating. This is what I meant by... This is why tomorrow I'm going to... You know, this week, and I'm going to try to focus on it tomorrow. I want to get us to a two camera setup when it comes to painting, so I can have a camera that's like close up and stationary, and then I'll have this camera, so it'll be like a split view, I'm thinking, so that you guys don't miss out on what I'm painting at all. Because right now I think what happens is when I move the model around, especially with the bigger models, the wings will sometimes go into focus and you guys actually won't see what I'm painting. Yeah, like I said, just a little bit of touching up. But for the most part, he's a done deal. Now, what I was going to look at was really quick the hilt of this sword. Oh, there's actually a gold detail in there too. Crap. All right, so I need this gold. Close that so we don't lose anything. Yeah, there's like a little gold detail that I totally did not. Well, while we're on the subject of gold details, let's So the gold detail I was referring to is at the top of the sword here actually needed to be gold. So that I'm going to fix right now. Which I did not see that when I first was painting it. Which means that on the other side, we have to do the same thing. Alright, so that's the gold piece of the sword. And then, while we're on the subject of gold, I should really fix some areas where the sword itself, some of the green that I was painting kind of went back over that gold. So we'll get that all settled and figured out. Oh, he's got a gold ring. Didn't even know that. Of course my gold has to get like watery right when I'm doing that. Does he have any other rings? No, okay, that was the only ring. But he does kind of have like a ring of power, which is kind of interesting. I didn't think Be'lakor had one. But I am really digging this Be'lakor. This Be'lakor looks super awesome, man. This is a really I really am digging this model, like the way that it's coming out. Let's just throw. I'm gonna start working on the bottom a little bit. All right, so we're gonna throw. This should make it darker. Yeah, there we go. Want to put some Gilliman on the ground. And we're listening to some epic music. I thought the epic music, the sort of more fantasy level music would be very, very good for this. I'm letting it be on the ground just because it honestly is a lot easier to paint this when you do that. Yeah, so what I'm doing now is I'm just going over it with Gilliman so we can punch that ground up a little bit, get a little darker. Because the color I use, which I don't think it was the skeleton, I think it was just a watered down Gilliman. So I'm just going over it again. Was great, but I want it to be a little bit more robust and really kind of bring out the rock and set the stage to go up and like kind of build in tone. This is perfect because we're going to need this now for a couple of detail pieces. But I noticed on the base here, there's a bone that I have to paint. So we're going to just paint that really quick. It's a little detail that I almost forgot on the base. There's no other is that a bone? I would say so. That looks kind of bone-like. Oh no, that's actually like rocks. So that's not a bone. Okay. It's funny. I went to see Thor: Love and Thunder, and all this music is making me think of that. Even though Thor: Love and Thunder is a little bit more like rock and rollish, because that's kind of the aesthetic that Marvel has gone for like for anything that's like space related or like not basically anything that's not happening on planet Earth is like now like space rock. It's everything space rock. So it's just making me it's funny how it's actually making me think of that more so than I thought it would. Okay, so that's good. We got the fingernail. We got those nails all taken care of. Like I said, my goal with this is very like punchy. So like I just want to like punch out the things that I need to punch out, get the things that I need to get in certain places, and just kind of move on because I really want to work on some of the Stormcasts because my Stormcasts have been a labor of love for me. I've had a lot of those models for years, and I haven't painted any of them. Because it was weird. I got the Stormcast models, and then I got the Stormcast models, and then I kind of sat on them. I didn't really do much with them. So what I'm doing now is I'm just using Space Wolf Gray to pick, quote unquote, like certain rocks to, like, you know, darken or emphasize more. Because in and I'm also like looking at what I painted and just seeing where I could be a little bit different with it. I'm also looking to see if there are any areas. I just took off everything I painted. That's pretty funny. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. And some of it is also just like I want to take that so what you guys are seeing me do now is I'm just going through, and I'm like, where there are bigger divots, I'm trying to use that Space Wolf to like create some depth, because the reality is that I think I told you guys when I went to go paint this the last time, I sort of messed it up. So I used the Space Wolf in areas I wasn't supposed to. So I'm trying to sort of salvage it, where I kind of use the Space Wolf by going back to areas, so we'll have like a darker indent to the stairs, so it'll provide like a little bit of natural shadowing, so the rocks will look a little bit more epic and they'll have a little bit of gradation to them. Again, I don't want to go crazy where like I just want to give the rocks a little bit of a little bit of like a darker tone to them, but like very sparingly. So as you guys are seeing what I'm doing, I'm just like going to areas and just even like just smashing it in to give that tone. And I think we've achieved it. So if you look at the stairs now, there's like a nice even keel of like darker stairs or darker rock transitioning from lighter rock. Yeah, I'm liking where we're going with this. So he is definitely giving us a little bit more detail now. Rock looks good. He looks good. We got some different things going on there. Now, the big question is, what am I going to do with the hilt? I have some ideas for the hilt of the sword. It's wrapped in like a coil. I mean, I've completely just made this up. So I think, let's just see. I'm going to test an idea. Because like I said, I went completely in a different direction than the Bellacore, like, definitely different than like the GW painting scheme. Like if you look at the suggested colors or like on the back of the box of this model, I didn't use any of the colors they told me to use for the paint scheme. I went completely rogue and just like did what I wanted. But what I'm curious about is, I think it'll work. I mean, I've given him a lot of skeleton bone for a lot of the elements of him, but I think it might work really well for the hilt, because then one, I'm a fan of bringing the colors you use into the rest of the model, so it creates a synergy. Oh, that's right. That's got hair. I forgot about that. Oh, I got to paint more gold because I messed that up. Yeah, I think doing the skeleton on the hilt is a really, really good idea. I think it's pretty good. I really, really like it. So I am a fan of that. I think it looks good. I'd love to hear in the comments what you guys think, and if you think, in fact, that he's looking good. I like how I said little touch-ups, and I've been working on him for like 40 minutes. No, that's where I was going. There we go. I don't know. Yeah, we're seeing. It's weird. I'm so trendy. I either have like a ton of people watching me, or I have like 2 people watching me. It's really crazy. I feel like the general consensus though is that a lot of people will say that they're busy, because I don't know, I feel like a lot of people, like, either maybe their jobs are starting to like pull them in, or just different things, but I feel like everybody in the world is just like collectively busy at the same time. It's one of the weirdest things that I've like come to learn about. It's just like, I feel like everybody is like equally just busy. It's definitely like, so it's kind of a callback to my night haunts. A lot of my undead, I like to do like purple and like weird hair. That's just like something I always did from way back in the day when I painted undead models. Sorry guys, I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I realized as I was looking at this model that some of the skulls actually have hair still. So again, I just went for that that old undead look for like what I did with my night haunts, because I do like very pale, like kind of the traditional undead, like dying corpse, and like hair is gray, blue. Like I try to do like really faded, crazy, wacky colors. That also, like I said, is a very old GW kind of feel. Because a lot of old GW models, that was like in the back in the day kind of painting. That was kind of the best way that you could paint, or that was like a very common scheme. Oh jeez. All right, so I gotta still paint some gold. I was coming for this because Oh yeah. So I did see that opportunity, which was not painted. Did I just paint the side? Oh, that's funny. I just painted the side of his finger. Nope, no. It was a nail. What was it? It was a skull that I saw. When I painted it, it was like half painted. Or there was like no... Oh, there it is. So the other one with the purple hair, like I didn't go inside of the eye sockets. So they weren't actually painted. Yeah, we could call this like the final touch-up phase. This is where I'm looking at like, what have I missed? What are things I overlooked? I just put a little bit more paint on top of those just to make them stand out a little bit more. Oh, man. But like I said, Be'lakor looks pretty awesome. Yeah, I got to do some more of the gold on the sword because there's a lot of the sword I didn't paint. And again, guys, I'm sorry if the angle is like really bad for you to see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm almost there. Almost there. Oh, my Lord. I'm using the model to brace my brush. So for people that ask, like, how do you get into those little crevices and stuff? I always tell people, like, the way that I do it is exactly the way you're looking at now. I try to use a lot of different avenues where I try to use the angle of the model and sides of the model to, like, brace myself on the model. But that looks awesome. Okay, so we got that done. I just noticed one other thing that I want to do. Because I forgot about it. But I wanted to... Yeah, that's fine. He has like a gem. One of the skulls has like a gem on it that I wanted to paint. So it looked like he, died with his riches, because obviously he tortured him. As one evil demon does, all the souls that he tortured. The only thing I didn't put on the model is we didn't prime and put on this guy, which is a Chaos Warrior. He's supposed to go essentially at the foot of the steps. So it looks like he... I'm going to do something a little bit different with him. Because I'm not a fan of, like, I'm probably going to put him somewhere like here. I don't know. I was even going to put him, because Be'lakor has a pretty large base. I haven't based Be'lakor because I thought it would be easier to paint him without having the big circular base to have to negotiate around. So I'm going to probably put him on the base rather than... rather than putting him on here because I really like the aesthetic of all that's painted. So we got the Gore on stuff. All right, so it looks like I literally have to paint almost all of those hoops. Because apparently I didn't do a good job of painting them while I was painting the model. I left them blank. I don't know why. I think my original intent... Oh, jeez. I think my original intent was to leave them... I was going to have them be gold. But it doesn't make sense to have them gold. It actually has... Because the rest of the chain leading up to them is going to be silver. So why would he do gold for those? So I'm just going to do them all in the silver. Yeah, so this is part of the problem with this brush. Because the bristles are a little, like, bent and not working correctly, it doesn't always catch the right way. Alright, oh, we gotta just do a couple of little things here. Like I said, this is just that little final touch-up phase. This is like where you go through, and you sort of punch through all the different things that you have to get done on the model. Because you always have those little... you know, areas where you didn't fully paint something, you kind of left something out. As I say to everybody all the time, like, you need to, you know, you want to turn your model around, you want to look at every angle of it, because sometimes you'll look on one side, you'll be like, oh, I'm good, and then you sort of flip it, and you're like, ooh, you know, like, oh, I forgot this side, or I forgot that side, you know, and it happens all the time. You know, especially when you first start to paint models, you'll realize that, like, you don't think to turn them around because you see it or you're looking at it from one angle and you like go, oh, that from that angle it looks terrific, and then you turn it around and you're like, oh, I didn't paint the other side of this chain. I didn't paint the other side of this. Now sometimes you start to learn a little bit about how to, like, manage your paint. So, like, most of the time for me now, like, if I see a certain aspect of a model, if it's similar to something I painted already, I might already have a plan as to, like, okay, if I put this much paint on here, I'll get both sides of it. So you start to, like, pick up and learn how to apply the paint once, so you don't have to do a lot of, like, going back and forth to do that. And you sort of do it once, and then you're like, okay, cool, I did the detail. And then I always say that because we're using the contrast paints, and I think it's one of the other reasons that people, I don't want to say shy away from them, but don't like them, is that you have to prime in white. And whenever you prime something in white, it's always much harder to hide your mistakes. It's so much easier when you're not doing something that is white. To you know, tuck away all those mistakes that you might have made. And what I'm doing now is, and I'm sorry guys that you can't see this, there's just some chains underneath. I'm just getting the back side of them. I'm not going nuts because you literally will never be able to see them. I just want from the side you not to see white. But yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So, like, that's why I have to go through all of these and really, like, check to see, all right, cool, from the side, are we good? From this angle, are we good? Because if you don't, then when somebody kind of turns a corner, they'll like go, ooh, I see you did not paint your this, your that. And, like, they'll kind of see that you did a subpar job. And again, some of that's the white. White is extremely, extremely difficult to paint. Do I want to do veins and stuff? I was going to do them. Oh, I have to do the gold relief detail. All right. So you know what? I'm going to let Be'lakor dry for a little bit. But this is where we got to with Be'lakor. I'm really happy with this model. I really, really like how it came out. I want to thank Plague again for the idea of the Gore on the chains. I think that looks really good. I really, really like the way the sword came out. And again, I really love the... I think I was asked this by Plague, like about the, you know, doing a lighter feel for him. I think it really, really does the trick. Like, he looks cooler. It still has darkness in it, but ooh, this is gonna look good once I get that null oil in there. So what I'm doing now is I'm just applying a little bit of null oil on the tip of the tail. And that's just so that the tail has a little bit of a point to it. This brush might be on its last legs, this small detail brush that I have, because now when I'm using it, it's very, very hard to get a like a point on the brush. That's it. I'm going to stop. I'm going to leave Be'lakor alone because I think I'm overworking him a little bit. Sometimes you get into like sometimes you get into a rhythm with with models, and you don't like give them a moment, and you can kind of like go too detailed or too much. I've done that before. Let me just reset everything here because I have paints. I went for my messy painter approach. And I just want to rectify that situation. I'm just going to keep these here because I'm gonna need them a lot for the next model we're going to do. All right, let's get my handle for that. Where's my handle? There he is. All right, so the next one up is we're going to work on some Stormcast Eternals. So this is the newer model that I reviewed and I previewed a few weeks ago. We are going to work on this. But in order to work on this, we're going to just quickly finish this model. Now, this model I started... It's weird. This model I started working on a while ago. And this is a specific chapter of the Stormcast Eternals. So, the idea with this model was I was trying to use a different... There is a faction of the Stormcast Eternals that essentially what the faction is it is a faction of Stormcast Eternals that are basically positioned where death is. So what does that mean for a Stormcast Eternal? Well, what it means is that they are stationed literally where death... Let me just see something. That Retributer Gold. Yeah, let me see this, because I did this guy all in Retributer Gold. I'm sorry, guys. I'm pretty sure I did not. Yeah, that's the Balthazar Gold. Which, by the way, if you didn't see our Monday night video, this is where we got to. This is we finished up this gentleman. I'm super happy with the way this came out. He looks freaking awesome. All right, so I was using this gold. It's been so long since I painted these that I completely forgot what and how I was doing things. And I also, what's a little bit challenging with this particular army is that I've painted a few different things in different ways. So what do I mean by that? Well, I had the dragon models that I got. I have like some armor on them that I painted a certain way. I have other Stormcast Eternals I've done other ways. So it's like everything has gotten a slightly different paint job. So it's like now I have to bring this all together so that I can like figure out exactly what I want to have happen. But yeah, so they are stationed where Death is. So essentially where Nagesh is with his forces at the edge of that realm. And they are protecting the realm. So they are literally fighting the undead all the time. So because they are in a realm of death, which is dark, and is not, typically what we are used to seeing the Stormcast Eternals in, which is more like, they're more around the town and people, and they're in the realm of light. So this faction actually does not. They don't use their golden Retributer armor. They actually use black armor because they are more in camouflage, and it helps them to repel the armies of the dead. Because there is a storm keep by the realm of death that they are protecting, that they don't want Nagesh to get access to. So that is the story of this faction. So they are actually featured in a White Dwarf magazine. And I saw the artwork for them and read the lore for them, and I instantly was like, ooh, that's awesome. And part of it is because I am an undead player, so I was like, it is probably only fitting for me to have then more so undead Stormcast Eternals, like have them actually be the Stormcast Eternals from that realm. So I was like super into it, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do my entire army in this style. So I got these are the Easy Snap models. They always do a kit like this where it's like you literally don't need glue, they just snap together, and it's like a three unit pack, and you can use them in your army, so they are like compatible with your Stormcast. But like, so I was playing around with the idea. No, I'm gonna change this up. I don't like this weird color. We're gonna make that skeleton horde. I'm gonna overlay that on top of that, and then what I was gonna do for their actual, yeah, and you can see I started doing like blue highlighting, which worked out fairly well. But I have one other thing I'm gonna start to do, and this is where it's gonna get really cool, and we should hopefully start to see some interesting stuff happen. But I did this on the dragon, and I really, really liked it. So I'm going to do it here, too. So all of their relief stuff, I'm going to do in this Necro blue. So it's going to be this, like, undead Night Haunt blue. So traditionally, these symbols would have been done in gold, but I did this on the dragon, and there was a reveal of a character on it, and I just loved how it sort of has a luminous to it, which I think is really cool. What's great about this technique or this method is, let's say I go a little too far and I paint the wrong thing. I can just come back with the black and I can just redo all of it. Which is what I love about doing this idea, is that I can just literally touch it up with the black and it will be fine and dandy. Oh, not like that though. So that was way too much I just put on there. Oh my god. Okay. But see what I was talking about? See how cool that looks? It just looks so ethereal. And it has this like super, super cool pigment to it. And like instantly he just looks boss. He looks so much cooler than he did a minute ago. And I'm going to oversaturate this a little bit. But I really, really like this idea. Again, I did this on the dragon when the dragon had a relief because they have Stormcast armor. And I did the armor in black like I did this one. Oh, but that looks dope. All right, so let's get this all nice. There we go. And get it all nice and tidied up. Okay, so we're gonna get, yeah, that already looks 10 times better. All right, their weapons are gonna be gold like they normally are. All right, let's get some of this black under control because I just think probably I just have to put more of the black in different areas. But like I said, the whole idea of this was to do like a test paint. So I used these guys as like the guinea pigs before I did any of the major characters. So I could like figure out exactly how I wanted the armor scheme to be, and then I could move that into other stuff. So, because I think I said this before, but it gets a little tricky when like you want to do armor. Oh, geez. Because it's also like, how are you going to do the armor is the other piece. And now typically you see the main two colors for this faction of Stormcast is the black armor, and then they have red capes. Versus what you might be used to seeing with them, which is more, you know, you're used to seeing the Retributer Gold, and usually blue is their other color. Yeah, but this is, they look boss, man. The minute you start painting all this in, it looks so good. Like, it doesn't even, it's not even a question. Like, it just looks so good. Now, for the face, I think we're going to do something different for the faces than I did here. So I might re-whiten that face. Yeah, a lot of this model I didn't actually finish painting. So, like, I started to, like, bring in the idea and the colors that I wanted, but I didn't. So that's why he looks, like, semi-unfinished. may cover up some of this blue highlight that I did, and that's okay because I have to get a lot of this painted because their armor, the way that it works, it's just like you have to get all of that little bit of armor, and there's just like a lot of little trim that you have to get in there, which is just a little annoying. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like, I do find that I think Stormcast kind of fall in the same vein, and I've made this joke before, but I mean, for folks that don't know, Stormcast are essentially Space Marines. You even kind of paint them like Space Marines. So they have a very very similar feel in painting to a Space Marine. So you kind of have that same, I don't want to call it repetition, but it's definitely the idea that you're like doing certain things over again. But yeah, like I said, when I saw this like faction and just the idea that they could be black, and just be like these black, like almost necro knights feel to them, I was like, that's awesome. I'm like, that's an amazingly cool thing. I don't know what I was thinking when I was thinking of like, I used a flesh tone on their belts. I don't know what my thought process there was, but I don't like it at all. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over all of that with the yeah, that is so much better. Yeah, I don't know what my thought process there was, but I'm gonna go over it with the skeleton horde. What was uniform? Oh, I don't know what uniformity means. What do you mean by uniformity? I just saw that quote now. I don't know what he means by that. So he's dangerous, but I do what I'm about to do because things are still wet. When talking about the Space Marines. Oh yeah. Yeah, like I don't dislike Space Marines. It's just that it gets, I feel like with the Space Marines, it's like, yeah, it's like, it's just that like you're so hell bent on paint, like you're painting the same thing over and over and over again, that you like, yeah, you just it just like burns you out a little bit as a painter. So it's like, because you're just like, oh, this is cool, but then like you kind of want it to stop, and it doesn't stop. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm gonna do some, like, obviously I'm gonna do metal bits here. I'm a fan of this. This has been like my new way to paint. I'll just like block out the colors so you get the straps, and then I just go back over with a detail brush and I get those details. Like I said, face wise, I'm probably gonna change the faces on these. I don't really like that, but this is a win. The necro color, I like the necro color. I think the necro color is really cool. Yes, I agree. Yes, Space Marines are great for begin. Oh, I always tell people like, I and I agree and disagree with that. Yes, they are good. They are good for beginner painters. Absolutely. They are, but you don't have to corner yourself into playing Space Marines. Like, honestly, for anyone that's starting out painting, you don't have to you don't have to just say to yourself, I have to play Space Marines because they're really easy to paint. What you can do is you can every unit or every army has like a basic unit or has a basic type of unit. So I always tell people, like, when you're going to do your army, and I'm actually using that same approach here. So like I said, what I did was I bought like this 3-pack of wait, what's going on? Oh, I well, Necrons you could play because they're easy. That's why Space Marines are ideal for us beginners. Yeah, Necrons I would consider a beginner army too, because that is the secret. I mean, that isn't the secret to why they put them in the box, because they put them in the box because they put them in the box because they're rivals, or they were discovered by, like, they fight them, but and there's lore that supports like their eternal struggle and battle and all that stuff. But the idea is that what I'm saying is, like, even if you wanted to play like an army that you feel is more complicated in painting, you could do it. Just I would always tell people, if you're beginning an army or a faction, always go and get like whatever the normal like troop unit is. Those are the units to start painting. Yeah. So what I was saying was, what I was about to say here is, I did the same thing with the Stormcast. So I bought like a 3-pack that's like the easy assemble pack, and I'm using these units to essentially practice. I'm using them to create my color scheme, and then once I like the color scheme, and once I like how I've laid it out, then I'm gonna go to my specialty models, so my like character models, and then I'm gonna graph that onto my character models. So I'm gonna take what I learned from this, and then I'm gonna do the specialty units. So it's like, so you can kind of do the same thing, where you go and say, okay, well, I'm gonna paint a basic unit, and then I'm gonna expand that, and that'll become my paint scheme for my army. And then for beginner painters, it's great to do that too, because again, for like a regular like baseline unit, let's say you have some bad paints, you paint some some basic Marines, and you have a hard time at it, you have some bad painting moments, whatever, it's so much easier to hide them. It's so much easier to hide them inside of your unit. So you can then just tuck them away and no one will ever see them. And you don't have to feel bad about the paint job, because that is true. As you start to learn how to paint, pretty much the first few things you paint, they might not look great. They might not look terrific. And, because that's going to be your learning. You're going to be learning how to paint. You're going to be learning about, brush control, paint control. You're going to be learning about all these things. So, then, at least then you could be like, okay, cool. I learned all this stuff. And you just take those basic guys and you sort of like spread them out into different units. So like maybe each unit has like a weird guy in it, like one of your maybe first paints. And so then like your army still looks really good, hell was that? Okay, that was interesting. So your army still looks good. It's just that you have, you know, that stuff kind of stuck. Well, I'm liking how this guy's turning out. He already looks boss. I love this idea of the black armored Stormcast Eternals. I'm so happy I did this. This is so cool. And I know when you have a whole field of these guys and you have them on the field, they're gonna look insane. I'm extremely happy with this paint scheme. I don't know what you guys think of it, but like I said, this is a special faction of the Stormcast Eternals that are stationed in the realm of death, which I think is like super awesome. So I'm just gonna get the straps. Yeah, and the idea is that I wanted to channel that idea that they are almost like vampire hunters. So I wanted to give them like the feel that they're like undead vampire hunters trapped in this realm, but they're also like Stormcast Eternals, so they're like, again, for folks that don't know the lore of Stormcast Eternals, they are essentially all Thor. So they are literally being they're essentially I think angels is really the better way to describe them. They're more like their version of angels because they basically come to the battlefield riding lightning. So they're not, I don't believe, well, I think they were once, they're spirits. They were once people. But now they're inhabiting these, like, you know, and it has been said, and I am definitely someone who has said it, that Stormcast Eternals are essentially Age of Sigmar's version of Space Marines. They have a lot of similarities to Space Marines. It's somewhat obvious that they are, but I know a lot of the 40K players out there get mad when I say stuff like that. But it is true. They have very, I mean, they even, for Christ's sake, have a deep strike ability, which is something that, like, now Space Marines have, which is literally they ride in on lightning. They just, like, they can just lightning into the field and basically just show up. So it's pretty insane. I always forget the Necro stuff, like this, the Knight. So again, normally, I mean, I'm still trying to bring. I'm going to do this. Like, I will do the weapons in the traditional, like, Stormcast way, where they're gonna have the gold and all that stuff. Because I want them to still have those Stormcast weapons. I don't know what you guys think. I think he looks super hella dope, but... And like I said, please interrupt me while I'm painting. I'm okay with that. You guys can talk to me while I'm painting. I promise when we get our new setup and I kind of like move things around, it will be even easier. So for folks that have been watching us and have been getting angry because maybe I'm not as responsive to the chat or I'm not as responsive to the comments, I am sorry for that. It's that my setup is not ideal right now. So I don't always see when you guys post. Obviously, got to do a lot more detail work on this, but I'm super hella liking this. It's pretty dope. I also like that we got the epic music on tonight, because the Epic channel apparently came back. So I can now play epic music again, which I used to like to play when we did, like, obviously our campaigns or our playthroughs. Now, for Thursday this week, we will 100% be doing a board game. We won't be doing Super Dungeon Explorer. We're going to actually be doing... I'm just going to take a minute break. We're going to be doing... it's actually going to be a what's called storybook game. Very cool game. It's done by Paladin. Not Paladin. Platted Press, I think, is the name of the company. I will review that on Thursday, but it's a pretty cool game. It's actually a post-apocalyptic game. It's a co-op board game for up to 4 players. And it's like Armageddon, but all the people are gone. And you play as mice. You play as mice trying to navigate this post-apocalyptic world with no human beings in it. I've been wanting to play this for a while. I thought it was pretty awesome. So I am super, super thrilled. And I have painted actually some of the models. So we will have some painted models. It's not 100% painted, but... So like I said, I am going to use the Retributer Gold on their weapons. The theory behind why I'm doing this is because I think it's a kind of... So I'm kind of doing an audible where I'm saying, or kind of putting out there that... So even though they are very under the radar and stealthy with the rest of their armor, I like the idea that their weapons are still like their traditional... magical weapons. So it's like they hide in the shadows, and then the minute they focus their power through their weapons, it becomes they like see the glint of the light of the weapons in the dark. And almost like they're bringing light to the dark to destroy the undead, which I think is kind of a cool concept. So I'm going to like kind of tell that story through my models. I don't know what you guys think of that. And again, as a reminder... I think we're going to go all the way to the bottom. I'm just going to do all of that. And again, guys, if you're watching, thank you so much for watching us. I don't know, my Twitch tracker always like kind of lies to me and tells me less people are watching than they really are. So if you're there and you have a voice and you want to say hi, please don't hesitate. And I say it all the time. Don't think that you can't talk to me while I'm painting. I'm a multitasking kind of guy. So I can totally do that. So all I'm doing now is I'm just basing everything in the metal, but I'm gonna... what I will be doing is I will be putting some null oil on this, so it will just kind of bring the shine or the luster off of this a little bit. But it'll still have that rich, nice... So what it'll do is where the gem is not, it'll... But I like this idea, and like I said, I like the idea of this like storytelling element that like they're still, even though they are a different faction, they are, like I said, they're still maintaining their connection to the traditional Stormcast. Yeah, the only thing I'm gonna, like I said, the only thing I'd like to do is probably do a little bit difference on their face. I'm probably gonna like do something, probably whiten it and lighten it. So I'll do maybe they'll have like whiter faces, or like, now if only I remember what blue that was. I think that was the, oh, that was. I was using the contrast blue. That's how I did that. I used the contrast blue on top of it, which oddly worked. It works on black. I don't know why, but it... Oh no, or I might have mixed it with blue. I think I mixed it with blue. Alright, I'm probably going to... I might call it quits in a minute, and part of it is the other thing of why we've been having off content and things like that too, is that we're having a little bit of a heat wave here, and the area in which I shoot, where I have my painting set up, is not the most ventilated, and it's not the most air cool. So I am kind of dying in here with a lot of my equipment. So that's why I'm going to be looking at our different setups and seeing if there is maybe a different way that I can go about doing this. It's actually funny. I think I'm gonna steal the technique I did with the Be'lakor, and I'm gonna do it on this, where I make their weapons with skeleton, so they're a little faded on the hilt, so it looks like wrapping. I'm gonna see what that looks like. Now, if I do it and I think, I don't know if I like that or not, because I did the straps that color. So I might, what I might do is I might redo. Okay, so that's what I love about the fact that they have black armor, is that if I ever do something like what I just did here, I literally just have to go back over to black and it goes away. It's interesting. You know, now it's... See, I was going to say, once you start filling in the model and you get everything based out, you can start to make those decisions a little bit easier of, like, what you want to do, how you want something to look. But I do like the way in which this all is coming together. It is coming together very well. And again, I don't know what you guys think out there in TV land, but I'm digging it. It looks cool. Again, even this, I didn't go 100% the way that the White Wolf example went. Because obviously when you get the magazine, and that's something I think a lot of people don't know about White Wolf magazine, is that obviously they talk about different factions and things in it, but I don't know if people know that they actually like have which I think is pretty cool. They actually have like different faction rules in there. So like you could have a faction and they'll do like this, an offshoot to that faction. So it gives you like a war battalion, or it gives you like different things that you can try if you feel so inclined. So I think that that's super cool. So that's like another usage of White Wolf besides the obvious things that are in it, which is them talking about maybe like playtesting new mechanics, or sneak peek into thinking about if they're doing like if they're on the horizon of maybe a new edition of something, and giving you some of the information or scoop about that. But they also are giving you like different add-ons and rules that you could be using in your games right now. So I think that's pretty cool. And like I said, the minute that these guys were from the Realm of Death, I was like the whole lore of this faction, I was just like, that's insane. That they're stationed literally where Nagash is, and it's just like they, essentially, yeah, for my Lord of the Rings fans out there, it's essentially that they are, if you think of them as essentially Minas Tirith, that's who they are. So they are the troops of Minas Tirith, who are just constantly fighting Mordor and the advances of Mordor, but they're just not. Ah. The only difference in this case is that they are very capable of fighting. It's just that the enemy they fight never dies. So they have to just keep eternally fighting. Because although Stormcast Eternals are very powerful, and they are, in some cases, you could argue immortal, they are not. They can die. Alright, so far, I'm really digging where this is going. We got this a lot more polished. I think the paint scheme is working tremendously well. I think we're going to end it here with this painting video day. I forgot to actually mention my sponsor, which is Undiscovered Realm. If you guys can check out their link below, they have all manner of, gaming accessories, things that you need. Obviously, the models that you're looking for, the paint accessories you might be looking for. All of those things. It's where I get all of my models from and supplies. I wouldn't be able to do what I do every week without them. So I really wanted to thank them. Again, I'm still buying a lot of this stuff out of my pocket, but they definitely are at least reserving and holding those things for me. They are my local gaming store as well. So if you find it in your hearts to find them and support them, that would be amazing and awesome. They ship anywhere in the United States. In addition to helping them out, if you guys could see it in your hearts to check out my website and my Patreon, that's some monetary ways to support us as well. That would be an amazing help, because that could get us into a place where I could get more resources, more people, more things, so we could actually expand what we offer and what we do, which is always a lot of fun, and will allow me to potentially do this on a more full-time basis for you all. Again, we got Be'lakor very, very much, I would say almost 99.9% done. There might be some little touch-ups I want to do, but I'm pretty happy with the way Be'lakor came out. And then we really kind of put to bed, I think, the beginning and really like firmed up my paint scheme for my Stormcast Eternals. So I am very excited to work on this faction, and we will definitely do more of this because they're fun. They are fun to paint. I know I said they were a little bit repetition, but I have a lot of varying units, so should be fun. And obviously this will become the paint sample that I will then use to do others. So if you want to see more parts of this painting project, please come and join us next week on Tuesday. Tomorrow I think we're gonna do there's a new game that came out that I kind of want to try out, so we might do a video game thing. If not, I'll definitely be probably rocking some more Stormcast painting, or we'll just do some more GW painting. Pretty much I think I've made it a decision that if we do an extra painting video each week, it will be a GW video, because really the GW models, you guys really enjoy me painting those more than a lot of the indie models. So I'm going to leave the indie models. Maybe there might be some one I think is kind of cool, but I think I'm going to leave the indie models as just personal painting projects for me, so I can have some fun and paint. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for coming. And please come and check us out the next time. So tomorrow we have another show, and Thursday. I don't know what this weekend's going to bring for us with streaming. I have a lot of different events this weekend, so it may be one of those situations where I do not stream over the weekend. But we shall see. And I will let you guys know more as it unfolds. I apologize that I yawned. All right, take care, everybody. We'll see you at the next video.